Lycian, from beast to man. Prologue. In 2036, we live in the age of superpowered beings who are called demis. These individuals were brought about during the great cosmic flare of 2012, the prophesied end of the world. The resulting energies that came from the flare had brought about a biological change within the people of the world. Some had been given gifts, others had been given curses. The ones not affected by this turned to the demise with nothing but hate and fear. To the point they were even blamed for the era of COVID due to the increased mortality rates of various people. Before tensions could rise any further, a man by the name Ozias Grant, the head of the Montreal Health Organization, had given hope in this war-torn world. He introduced technology that could protect people from harm at the hands of a demi, not to further elevate prejudice against demis. Ozias had created regulator bands to prevent their powers from going astray. With the implementation of different policies by the various governments, the overall aid of the MHO, societal peace was temporarily achieved. I say temporarily due to the actions of Ozias' son. Like his father, he was a man of character and understanding towards the plight of others. Secor cared not for others, but for how useful they were to him. Ozias did everything that his father could to get his son on the right path, even promising him the company as a part of his future. That would come with a great cost. Despite that, Secor had shown great promise. His intellect was far beyond the brightest minds this world had to offer. With that in mind, he began his own development of various robots and cyborgs, even the first ever hard-light computer. However, tragedy would soon befall Secor as he failed to properly regulate the amount of energy that the computer could withstand. This resulted in a very terrible explosion that nearly cost him his life. But instead of life-changing damage, it added more to his less than desirable personality. His skin had an emerald hue, and his once dark brown hair had become an icy white. He stood much taller than most men. The light around him had bent to his will, and along with many metals moving at the mere wave of his hands, Ozias couldn't believe his son had this power. There was something else he couldn't believe as his son stared at him with a horrid smile. Secor had killed his father. Ozias, in his thoughts, "What have I done to make you hate me so much, my son?" All Secor said in response was, "I don't hate you, father. I just wish you had. I've got a place. Things will be better than they are with you." While it treated those with power like they were criminals, and those who defended them were treated just as badly. But like all eras of darkness, there was a light of hope that shone through. A man by the name of Jonathan Irving would lead a new age of scientific advancement. This new creation that changes the tide of how we combat viral diseases, mental disorders, and permanent disability. Hell, even cancer. This new substance was dubbed the Omni-Cure. The component of this concoction was the vast and various genetic materials from different animal species across the planet. Jonathan was a widely known veterinarian and biologist. He even had his own clinic that also acted as an adoption center. While these two men were on the world stage of scientific study,